Hi, welcome. Today we're going to work on the Stork exercise, which is an amazing yoga pose. So typically it's taught for balance because it is a one-footed balance exercise. It's great for walking and gait because walking activities is a one-footed activity, believe it or not. But not only is it going to increase your walking ability, but it also improves posture. So there's a stability of the ankle, the knee, and the hip joint, and then the muscles that attach the leg to the spine. The spine has to be really strong and tall, so the back muscles get strengthened, and then the shoulder blades are strengthened on the back as well. And then we're going to focus on the head, getting rid of the forward head, so a lot of the cues will help with that too. So make sure you follow along with the materials that you've been provided, and there's lists of every single muscle that is strengthened and stretched during this activity, and you'll be amazed at how much is really there. So I'm going to change into my scrubs, and we'll go inside, and we'll work with Mr. Frank. So see you inside. Hi, I'm Dr. Ken.
And I'm Mr. Frank. You see this tape as you look at it. Believe me, I'm not a professional. I'm trying to get here to work, and I'm overcoming a little setback in my life. But please bear with me. I'll do the best I can. And whenever you see this, you can do better, I'm sure. Thank you.
No, not at all. He's our best model.
Well, there's two answers to that. No and no and no.
So join us for this program.
Yes, it's my pleasure to be involved in this. I thank you again. Look forward to be here another time. Thank you.
And we're going to do the Stork exercise, or Mr. Frank is going to do the Stork exercise. So first I'm just going to have him lift his knee and show us what it's like for most people. So Frank, just lift your knee. And do you see how it's a little difficult? So if you set this up properly, you'll have more success. So you want your feet facing forward, toes pointing towards me, feet about hip width apart. Good. Now with your feet, feel like you're moving your feet away from each other, but they stay still. So you just pull them apart slightly in your mind. Yep. And then you also want to feel like you're screwing them into the floor. Like this part of your feet's moving away from each other and the heels are moving towards each other. So the feet feel like they're screwing into the floor, and that'll give you more of a solid feeling. Perfect. Now you want an equal weight distribution on, pretend your feet are cars and you have 4 wheels. So keep your feet right there. Move this one back just a little bit so that they're even with one another. Yeah. You have 4 wheels on your car, and you want all 4. Here's a wheel, here's a wheel, here's a wheel, and here's a wheel. And you want all 4 wheels on the car with equal weight distribution. Okay? Now you're going to pull your belly in and up. Good. And then bring your shoulders back, chest up. Good. Now look straight ahead for me. So your chin is parallel to the floor, right there. And then you're going to retract your head or make a double chin. Pull your head straight back. Yeah. Now lift the chin slightly. Lift it more. And then pull it back a little more. Yeah, right there. Good. Perfect. So now you're going to see more of a plumb line from the ear to the shoulder to the hip to the ankle. Yeah. Let's pull it back even more. Yep. Excellent. So we're going to start from that point, pull the belly in and up again. Yeah. Take a deep breath. Breathe here. Now with your hands, you're going to bring your elbows to your sides and then just turn your palms up and hands out to the side, like a tightrope walker. So we want to be right there. And that'll help you balance some more. That's even better. Yep. And you always look straight ahead. Now you can hold my wrist here, and you can hold me tight if you want to, or lightly if you're doing better. So now I'm going to have you pick this foot up off the floor, and the knee goes straight forward. Yeah. And bring your knee up high to here, to where my hand is. Good. And I'm going to hold this hand too. Good. Stand up tall. Look at me. Good. Yeah. Take some breaths. Now bring your knee up higher. Higher. Like a higher this way. Yes, that's it. So we're strengthening the hip flexors. Breathe. And then let it down. Put it on the floor. Good. Good job.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here is we're balancing, but on this leg, and the reason why we've chosen the stork position as opposed to the tree position. The tree is a yoga pose. And the stork is too, but it's forward. And why we've chosen this one is because it's more involved with walking. It's a walking position, so it's more functional. It is strengthening the psoas muscle, which attaches from the back. Every lumbar vertebra it attaches to, then it goes through the body and attaches to the inside of the, into the leg bone or the femur. So when it comes up, it is working in conjunction with one of the quad muscles, the rectus femoris. But when it gets really high, the thigh muscle, the quad drops out, and the psoas is working alone or almost alone. And so then you get more strengthening of the psoas muscle. And the psoas muscle is a stabilizer between the back and the leg. So you're working on your perfect posture skills, right? Now, when we retracted the head and the head went back, we were strengthening. Bring your head forward, Frank, for me. Yeah, right there. Now look forward. So you can see how his neck muscles are flexing down here, or the lower cervicals are in flexion. And if you look forward, look at the fireplace right there. And the upper cervicals will start to move into extension. So when we retract the head, bring your head back for me again. Drop the chin a little. Drop your chin. Yep. Now we're starting to get some extension in the low cervicals and a flattening of the upper cervicals. And that's what we want for the forward head. And so in the stork, which is great, we're practicing strengthening the neck in a functional position, which is standing. Okay, go ahead and have a seat for me, Frank, right here. We're going to do this same exercise, but we're going to do it in seated. This is another variation. So we're going to set the back the same way, very tall spine. Retract your head again. Yeah, it's like you're moving a drawer straight back. And then the chin is parallel to the floor as much as possible. Now the belly still pulls in and up, so you're still working here. And this time lift this leg for me up to about where my hand is. Yep. And I can even offer him some resistance. I can push against his leg so we can work on some strengthening. And the automatic thing, if you've noticed, is to lean back. So he leaned back a little bit. I want him to sit up tall. Yeah, now he's really working because the hip has flexed past 90 degrees. That means the psoas is in charge of this hip flexion. And so we get a lot of strengthening there. And now I'm going to push against his knee so he's working even harder, and then relax. Because a lot of times the psoas is tight on most people. Let's do this side. It seems like it's tight, but really it's weak. And it's trying to hold everything together. So it's tense. It's not strong. It's just tense. So if we can strengthen the psoas muscle, which is a great postural stabilizer, then it will, go ahead and relax. Good. Then it can do its job better. It's strong. And then the tension drops away out of the muscle. And at that point, this is the back part of gait. So the psoas muscle has to lengthen to allow this position. Once we get the psoas strong, it can help this, but then the tension dies out of the psoas muscle so that it can elongate for the back part of the gait position. And all the while, we're working on the head and balance for this. Now, another really cool variation. Go ahead and stand up for me again, Frank. Sorry to make you move around everywhere. Turn towards me. Is, go ahead and hold my hands again. You'll come up to the stork and then touch back. Let's use this foot. Use this foot so that they can see. Yeah. Lift that knee. And then touch back. Yeah, so that's a gait right there. Now bring it forward and back. Stand up tall. Look at me. Yeah, you got it. Real tall, chest up. Retract your head. Make a double chin. Beautiful. That's it. Relax. So that's just a moving variation of the same thing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Say goodbye,
For this
Mr. Frank.
episode, we'll see you the next episode.
That's right. We'll see you in the next chapter.
Okay.
Let's go over a couple of comments. If you have someone who balances really well, what you want to tell them to do is unlock the standing knee slightly. If the knee is in its lock, the musculature isn't working very much. But when you take it out of its lock, the muscles really have to start working. So that is preferable for people who are pretty stable. Also, with their hands touching, you saw how Frank was holding my hands. If you want to put them up against a countertop, that's great, or the back of a chair, but you want the hands to be flat instead of gripping, because then they're starting to use their arms to assist them in balance, and then they're losing all the work throughout the rest of the body. So flat-handed, 2-finger, 1-finger, touching and releasing, but you definitely want to stay safe. The second comment I want to make is in the seated version of the Stork. We had Frank standing tall and retracting his head, or pulling back like a drawer straight back, because that was quite a challenge for him. Now, to add an additional challenge or additional load to that work, if you hinge from the hip joints, staying in a neutral spine, so the whole spine just leans forward, then gravity is pulling at the head and adding an additional load, then retract, and that's going to be more work. You can always turn the head to the side if you want to work on the rotators, if you want to strengthen the rotators and stretch the rotators against gravity. The more gravity you add, the more load there is, the more resistance training that occurs. And then the added benefit of leaning forward and then lifting the leg is the angle at the hip joint. So we were talking about the psoas. If this was the leg and this was the back, when the leg flexes, when the hip flexes, the psoas works harder from 90 degrees of flexion and up. So when I lean forward, I have more of this angle. I have 120 degrees of flexion. That means there's more psoas working. But remember, the psoas is in a shorter position, so it's going to have a tougher time to recruit all of its fibers to get a full contraction. So those are just some things to keep in mind when you're working with different people at different skill levels with the Stork. Now remember, all this is written down for you, all the comments, all the cueing. You can look through your text and maybe circle the things that you thought were really advantageous to you and your work. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next exercise.